Ready?
Been ready. Let's
And ready?
go.
Do you ever just like think to yourself like I'm a man today? Like I'm a
Never.
freaking man today.
Not
No?
once.
You don't just
Not
like
ever.
you don't just like flex your muscles and look in the mirror sometimes?
So you're working on yourself again. Like, you continue to work on yourself.
just do this?
You've lost weight. You have muscles now somehow. I don't know how you did that. You're roiding? Are you roiding?
I'm just holding my arm a lot closer to the camera so it appears like it's all perspective.
Megadads Live is a mature-rated podcast. It's for the Megadads, the Mega Moms, but not the Mega Kids. So put on those earmuffs and let's go!
You're on the juice. You're juicing.
I am kind of. So I've really cut back on drinking and eating crap. And I've been hovering around the 165 mark for a long time. I used to be like 150. I blew up to like
Holy
180.
shit.
And I got myself to like 165 and I've plateaued. Like I can't crack the 165, right? And then I had the worst day at work yesterday. Just a complete train wreck clusterfuck. And I text my wife and I'm like, we need to have a horrible dinner and I need like an entire bottle of rum. And so I came home and she had steak tacos ready and they had like the Dorito shells, the really
Oh my God, no.
so like just loading up the sour cream and the queso on it. I'm just putting everything on it. I ate 4 of them. And then I just sat back and I had rum and Coke while we watched the opening ceremonies. And I got up this morning and I'm like, I'm going to weigh myself like I always do. And it's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. And I weighed myself and I lost like 4 pounds from yesterday.
Whoa.
And I was like, man, I just must have like stress absorbed all that food somehow. And it went right to the guns. So
That's good.
So I've been doing this.
Follow Adam's health regimen. Just like eat your feelings and lose weight.
Torture
This is
yourself
great.
with stress and anxiety, and then just eat a fuck ton of terrible food, and it'll all work out.
The Dorito shell is offensive. Like, it's like,
You don't like the Dorito shell?
We're already eating tacos. Can we you know what I mean? Can we calm down a little bit?
Yeah.
That's like having beef infused cheese and adding that cheese on top. You know what I mean? Like, you're already doing the thing. Like, let's calm down.
I know they did like a limited time Cool Ranch Dorito shell, and I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could go that far.
It's got to be the cheesy one.
Yeah, just the nacho cheese one is fine.
Keep it authentic. Yeah.
The authentic Mexican experience.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, how are you doing?
It's up and down, Adam, and I am super jazzed because we are coming into a season of life and gaming that's it's surprising, right? It's like, oh, nothing's supposed to be happening, and then here and there we get these gems of video games that are have space to breathe in the summer lull, and it's happening. And because I was sitting there for a while and I was like, there is nothing going on, and then wait a second, what's this? And then you play something. Same thing with the summer. It's like, okay, it's warming up. What are we going to do? And then it's like, I've been out and I've been we'll go to the zoo, we'll go to the lake, we'll just do random, the random, let's have a good time things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's happening quite a bit. So yeah, I'm pretty satisfied overall. Things are up, things are down. You know what I mean? The polls are indecisive. It's close. It's a 50-50.
Well, don't get to super positives yet. Because sneak preview.
Yeah.
But don't get too comfortable with the state of gaming right now, because starting this month in August, it's on, right? We get Star Wars Outlaws in August.
Oh, I hope that hits.
And
then
I
hope that
it's
hits. I really do.
Astrobot in September, and then it's Silent Hill in October. This is a major game that I'm going to play every month for the rest of the year. But I've been doing the same thing. I've been enjoying the downtime. I've been picking up games that I've already completed just for fun, kind of like shits and giggles. I was talking a couple episodes back about how I was playing Horizon again. I did the same thing with Ghost of Tsushima. I just picked that up for a few hours over the weekend just to remember how great that game is and do some missions that I hadn't done. And then playing some indie games, which I'll be talking about in future episodes. It's just, you're exactly right. It's a time where games can breathe, and we don't get that very much these days. So yeah, it's good to enjoy. But speaking of enjoyment,
Mega Dad's being super positive.
we like to begin every episode of Mega Dads Live with our super positives, things that have been bringing us joy. I have a very personal one. People may not like it if I get political, but I don't give a fuck because I'm super excited about our new presidential nominee. Joe Biden dropped out of the race because he's 700 years old. God bless his heart. He did a lot of great stuff, but it's time to move on. And I haven't had this level of excitement in politics in a long time. I think for too long it's been a feeling of wanting to rail against something. But now I'm excited for what we have to offer, like really, truly excited for what's coming. And I'm just feeling optimistic and hopeful. And that it's good to feel great about where we could potentially be headed. So that's got me feeling super happy.
You have to be dead inside if you look at a clip of Joe Biden speaking, like for instance, his address where he's like, I'm hanging it up. I did it for you guys. You have the ball now and save democracy. Like that was heartwarming, touching. But his age is there, and then he's just, the energy level, right? He just got over COVID, all this stuff. But any other clip, even like go back 2-3 weeks, he's at a certain level. And then if you watch him and then you watch Kamala Harris speak, it's like night and day, and the energy level is through the roof, articulate, able to like just bring like that clear message of, what we stand for, what they stand for. And if you're not energized by that, like if you don't see a contrast in that and understand even why others are excited, I don't know what to tell you, because it's a step up. Sorry, it's an upgrade, and it's great. We at Mega Dads, like we never talked about it. We just knew kind of like, hey, we're not awful. And then that kind of lends into, of course, we kind of know who we're voting for because the choice is so clear to us. And we never like talk about it as a team or in the Discord or anything like that. It just kind of was. It's like, oh, you're not awful. And then we want to talk politics. What I don't understand is like, people are like, oh, you shouldn't talk about that. Like you're a gaming creator, or, let's not talk about it, period. But with what we're seeing here, which is just the most vile shit like ever spewed, the lies, the everything, and like equal rights and like shit like that. It's like
easier than ever to.
Why is it taboo to say this?
Right.
Why am I not allowed to say this? I'm comfortable.
Yeah, I'm perfectly comfortable not being a dickhead. So if that bothers you, find another show. But I'm more.
It happens to be political to say like these good things that I care about and that I would like to vote for. It's like, wow. She's not perfect. I'm actually super like left, liberal, progressive, where it's like I want even more, with on stances on more hot button issues. But come on, like it drives me crazy when people are like, they're both the same. Like I talked to a cousin of mine, he's like, it's still both the same. I'm like, dude, you're like, you wanna bang your head against the wall. You wanna
Some
scream.
people cannot be reasoned with. What's your super positive, buddy?
So the Discord, and if people who may be listening, I know this for a fact now, who have been listening to Mega Dads for years, who, are just on the sidelines, I want to give you that personal invitation. come chat with us. Discord is an app. You could download it on your phone or on your computer, whatever you want to do. And it's just like a chat room type thing where you go in, you join a community, and they have these little areas where you could type out messages to each other and you go back and forth. Because I realize now our Discord's growing and it's blowing up. For some reason, one reason or another, people started to come out and say, hey, been listening to Megadads for a long time, and you know what, I do feel like chatting. So maybe like people are out there, they're lonely, they want that connection, whatever it is, we're friends, we chat in this app called Discord. So if you go to the YouTube, Megadads on YouTube, you see the instructions, the little link that you could click to join. It gives you that energy because you have people coming out that are just like, hey, like I want to talk. Shout out to Lychee0622, shout out to Panim, DPANIM. Shout out to all these people who have, joined recently that are, bringing life and new energy to the Megadads community. So I was like, I realized we should spell out what Discord is. Like, join the Discord. It's like, it's not a cult.
Yeah, it's true. It's something that we've had for a long time, but it's very fun to have engaging conversations. Like, you can post stuff on threads and you can say, reply in the comments and this and that. But Discord is a more active way. It's a live chat. And we're pretty much monitoring it all the time. So people jump in, and it's always fun to see new people who have been listening for years. I mean, who knows how many people are listening that have never joined in the conversation. Totally free. There's no ads, no nothing like that. And it's also a good way to find the latest content drops. Like, we're always dropping in when there's new videos and stuff like that, so you don't have to go searching for it. Kind of like a community hub. So we invite everybody to do that. It's a good time. Let's talk about some headlines. Before we go into the games that we've been playing, San Diego Comic-Con is happening right now. And there's some game announcements or content announcements for games, and one jumped out at me this morning.
Oh, what was
that I thought was absolutely phenomenal. It's a new character reveal for Marvel Rivals, which is the upcoming hero shooter. Now, this genre of game is not my genre of game. Mm-hmm. However, if there's anything that's going to get me into playing a game of this type, it's the Marvel brand, the Marvel IP, playing as all your favorite heroes. I love that kind of stuff, right? And,
yeah, absolutely.
And they just announced a new character. I dropped the trailer link into the chat here.
Here we go.
I would like you to watch it with me, and then we're going to get your reaction on the other side to this character reveal.
What in the hell is going on here? What is it?
You tell me.
Lord. Oh, it's Jeff.
Do you know Jeff?
Oh my God, Jeff is Jeff is a character. Now I'm blanking on where else Jeff appears, but yeah, Jeff. So I play a game on mobile. It's on PC as well, called I was gonna say Marvel Rivals. It's not Marvel. It's the card game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? Marvel
Hero something or another.
Yeah, so the Marvel card game that came out has this as a character, and then what ends up happening is, if I don't know who someone is, then I go and I look up, I've never seen that Marvel character, I'm interested, like that, I've never seen them, and then you go in and you try to look at like, what other comics have they been into, where did they first appear, what abilities do they have. So that's like really interesting. So I have seen this Jeff little baby shark thingy in Marvel Snap. Marvel Snap is a really good game.
That was a huge game for a long time. Is that still a thriving community?
It gets going. Yeah, it's going. People like it. It's a really solid game. And this little cute Jeff character is actually a powerful card in the game. So this is interesting. So you didn't know anything about Jeff?
I have no idea who this character is. But I love the fact that the reveal trailer is for Jeff and Thor to be introduced in the game, and they mention nothing of Thor until the very end. They're like, and also Thor.
at the very end, because it's like about the
Yeah.
shark, and that's what people care about. And then yeah, that's awesome. This style that they're going for, and the visual style of the game as well, I was apprehensive about it at first, but then the more you see it in action, the more interesting it gets. Have you played the game? Because there is an open beta going on for Marvel
Was
Rivals
it
right now.
open
It's
beta?
hot. It was like you had to get a code, and then people who are playing got codes to invite their
I haven't
friends.
tried it yet. Again, this is not
Yeah.
typically my style of game, but man, if there's anything that's going to get me on board, it's Marvel.
Yeah, it would be nice. I would love to see you and your kids pick up and play in a way, because it's a competitive, like team hero shooter, or hero brawler. So I think that you would like it if there was a mode where you could just go in there and mess around and have your own lobby or something like that. I hope that they would think to do something like that, because these games tend to get pretty competitive overall. But good reveal. Good
It's
reveal. This is
great.
great. Check these out
It-
if you get a chance. The Marvel Rivals reveal. I saw the Doom one, so that was cool.
Yeah, it reminds me of just like how massive the Marvel universe is. Like if they're pulling this
Yes.
kind of content early on, it's great that it's like deep cut characters that aren't, general knowledge, but then they're also going to throw in a Thor or like a Venom or something like that for people who have a more base level knowledge of Marvel. I thought I knew a lot about Marvel, and now out comes Jeff the Shark, and I realized I don't know shit about Marvel. I had Deadpool and Wolverine is out. Have you seen it
Yes,
yet?
it is.
Did you go?
I did see
Oh
it
my God.
last
No,
night. Yeah.
no spoilers, but thumbs up.
We are going to release a movie magic reviews, our little mini podcast that we have going on about Deadpool Wolverine. That's the latest flick that we saw and discussed. We talk about it spoiler free, and then we talk about spoilers at the very end. So look out for that if you go to the Mega Dads on YouTube. By the time you're listening to this, it will be up. It was thumbs up. It was thumbs up.
The other day I said to myself, there's one X-Men movie that I've never seen, and that
Which
is
one was it?
X-Men Origins.
Okay, good. I thought you were going to say Logan. I'm like, please, God.
No. I knew
Okay.
that Origins was bad, and I
Right.
said I want to see it because I assume there will be references to it in Deadpool, and I'm very excited for Deadpool and Wolverine. So I forced myself to watch it. And first of all, it's a terrible movie, just absolutely god awful movie. Second of all, I had no idea that Wolverine's real name was Jimmy. His name's like James Howlett or something, and they keep calling him Jimmy in the movie, which I thought was just incredibly stupid. And I made a post about it on Threads, and let me tell you, if you come out and declare your lack of knowledge for a staple character like Wolverine, the comics Threads community will come for your ass. They will come for you hard.
They destroyed you.
They
They're
absolutely
like, "How
raked
dare
me
you
over
not
the
know
coals
this?"
because I had no idea that Wolverine's name was in fact Jimmy, which I stand by as being just a terrible name for Wolverine.
Mhm.
How do you have a character who literally has a defined name as Logan, which is cool, totally badass, and then you find the need to rename him Jimmy?
It's odd for all of the oh, this is one universe thing that Marvel has going for it. It's also a universe of variations, and that is interesting, because it's like they have the character, and then it's like, oh, but what if this?
Yeah.
And then this version of that character is also over here doing this thing. So there's a lot of information. And comic book people are different than video game people. They've put in the time. I respect it. They have all this knowledge based on the way that comics have done things, and but when the gatekeeping comes in, it does kind of sour things, or it's like, you didn't see this terrible movie and also know this from the comics. I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I don't read comics. They're like, fuck you
Yeah.
for not reading
How
comics.
dare
And it's
you
just like, oh my
encroach in our
God.
space? So I'm sure I'm going to catch all sorts of crap about knowing who Jeff the Land Shark is, but you know what?
Yeah,
I am
it's like,
who I am.
Jeff, the how do you not know
How
that?
do you not
It's
know
like,
Jeff?
yeah, I'm sure that it's an adorable thing to look into. But that's the beauty of it. Like, you see something that you didn't know about, and then you look into it, and then they have their own like series, and they have their own appearances, and may be an interesting character. Like, I know that coming out of Deadpool, I have so many questions about things that I saw that I didn't know, and like, oh, I got to research this because I'm interested.
Yeah.
It's interesting, the timeline aspects of things, the like, oh, that character cameo, I didn't recognize them. Why don't I? What did I miss?
Right.
Like, it's all good.
Mhm.
Have fun with it, people.
Have fun.
Have fun with it.
That's what it's all
Yeah.
about. Speaking of having fun, we're going to talk about a video game that you've been playing. Antonio,
Oh, yes.
let's hear all about what game is this?
Dungeons of Hinterberg.
Sounds very German.
It's Austrian.
Austrian. Okay.
And I had to look that up because, you know, as an American, I had no idea, based on the language that they use, like the slang and all that, and the visuals of everything. I didn't put two and two together. I'm like, this is a European setting here, but I had no idea that it was Austrian like theme.
Okay.
And what this game is I'm gonna come right out and say it's a great game. And it came out of nowhere. It launched on Game Pass, and a lot of people have picked it up and started playing it, and the positive reception is really good.
Beautiful.
You play I was so glad to hear you say that. The art style is a mix of like hand-drawn, cel-shaded. I'm not good at describing these things, but it's drop dead gorgeous.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Dungeons of Hinterberg, at the very least, see a trailer or a video or something.
Is it
so you could
Hindenburg
get a
or
feel.
Hinterberg?
Hinterberg. Sorry,
Dungeons
apologies.
of Burger King.
My Austrian is a bit rusty.
It's okay. It's okay.
So the premise of the game is this girl who has like a very stressful job decides to go on a vacation, and you quickly find out that the real world that she lives in her boring job, and there's traffic, there's real world stuff, and you go on a vacation to escape it all to a place where magic has been discovered and dungeons and monsters. So people are just like, hey, isn't it crazy that monsters exist? And like and they talk about it. They're like, is this dangerous? And they're like, yeah, this feels dangerous. And they turn it into a tourist attraction. So the dungeons around this town in this Austrian Highlands area is it becomes a commodity, and it becomes a tourist attraction. So people go, you rent a hotel room or hostel type situation, and then you go and you adventure, and it's supposed to be fun, and they charge you, and there's businesses that pop up related to this, like you need a potion, and like it's like, and they never lose that in the writing of, this is weird, like this is the real world, and what is the conflict here between fantasy coming into the world? Like, is there an explanation for this? How did this happen? What are the implications of commoditizing like the whole experience? And how dangerous is it for tourists to be doing this?
Mhm.
And like, you have your tour guide, and he's like, I'm responsible for you, and like all this like stuff is like the backdrop, which is interesting, right? You get this idea of Persona, where you mix, and it's
Right.
like two halves, and there's this distinction between the real world and this fantasy world where you're fighting in dungeons. This one decided to meld the two, and the people on the outside are aware of what's happening. It's not even on the outside, it's right in front of you. So it's very interesting from a story perspective, and you're a normal person meeting normal people who have just decided to raid dungeons. So really cool.
This looks amazing. So what is this, like a action platforming genre or RPG?
So you walk around a town hub, having conversations with people, developing relationships with people, similar to like, again, the Persona system, where you're there's another, I think there was another game called Dreamcatcher that was very much like this, who again, they all have the same relationship system where you speak to someone, the more you invest in the relationship, the more perks you unlock, and things and modes and things. So you talk to people, have a short conversation, which I love, because I was like, I'm not really big into the relationship sim things unless they're done right.
Mhm.
But the speech patterns and like the conversations don't overstay their welcome, and they're interesting because they're all about this like strange world type thing, so it works. And then you walk around the town hub, and then you find in different areas that load like bigger hubs, like you run around and fight monsters and pick up items and find chests. And you're at this point, like let's say in the Highland Mountain area, and it's beautiful and the colors change, and this area in particular is like full of like real world stuff but fantasy stuff.
That's so
And
cool.
then you find the little dungeons, which are, they're like doors, so then the door leads into like the very unique dungeon instance. And these dungeons are like the highlight, one of the highlights of the game, because they are, imagine a team got together and they decided, what can we do to keep this dungeon formula fresh? You know, the dungeon has to be interesting, decent puzzles, you know, it has to look cool, and we flip it on its head, similar to the way like Mario games do it, where it goes from like 2D to 3D. They do crazy stuff. It's excellent.
That's
so
so
the
cool.
dungeons are a highlight.
This is
Yeah.
This is an Xbox console exclusive.
It keeps things fresh, Adam, and I highly suggest that you find a way to play it. It is surprising. Everyone who plays it talks about how ambitious it is. The thing that it pleased me the most was the combat, because it's simple yet satisfying. And when I thought that the combat was going to be too easy, you could go and challenge enemies that are higher than you, higher level. And like, the first time that I started getting bored with the combat, I ran into a group of enemies. I'm like, oh, these guys are harder, and it takes a little bit more skill to dodge and use these skills. You have magic and different things that you unlock that are like half traversal puzzle, half like combat oriented, so the magic can be used like both ways, and it just keeps things spicy, it keeps things interesting. So the combat isn't mindless, but it's not Dark Souls. It's
Right.
like just enough to keep you button mashing and kind of dodging. Like I died and I was like, great, this is going to be somewhat of a challenge. And then, you know, it kept things fresh. So on all fronts, I don't recall the music being anything too special or being very present, but on all fronts, it's a very good game. Very good
Wow.
is where I would put it.
This looks absolutely my jam.
I've only done a couple dungeons so far. Like the world is so beautiful. It's you have to find the dungeon doors, right? So you have to do some light puzzling to get to the areas, but you also have to just go there, meaning there are paths and there are like trails. So it's almost like you're on vacation, and if someone was like, hey, go for a walk on vacation, right, to this area you haven't been, that would be exciting to you because you hadn't been there before, and nature is just, you know, impressive. In the game, you're walking down these trails, and it's giving you like this view of the mountain and the town and the things and the trees and like everything. The colors are changing, and it's interesting to you because it's the first time you're seeing it, similar to like if you were on vacation and seeing it for the first time. So the game encourages you to just sit and like take in the atmosphere. It's on that night, day, evening system like Persona, where it's like you can choose one thing to do tonight. Do you want to talk to somebody? You need to buy something before the next day. And it's like it has you do that, but it's also like, do you want to do nothing and just soak up your vacation and just go to a spot and sit? And I'm just like, this is wild. Like I'm glad that it was executed so well, because it could have fallen apart. And it's gotten the attention of a lot of people.
Yeah, I've seen chatter come out of nowhere about this game. I don't know if I was just ignorant or if this is like just kind of announced.
It got no
came out of nowhere.
marketing. Like you wouldn't hear about it unless someone's telling you about it or you're seeing it pop up in your Game Pass. So very, very impressive game. It's reviewing well. People are jazzed about it. It's again, I think there's a burnout about the Dark Souls for people who like don't want to suffer through, you know, what's going on. So everything is kind of light puzzles, decently challenging combat, and the dungeons don't overstay their welcome. Like it moves at a good pace. There's like 25 dungeons that they advertise. I'm not sure if there's hidden stuff, But yeah, really cool. Like every time I got new magic, I was like, wow, they let you do this. Like, oh, they give you this skill. Like, oh, this skill will help. And then you have to like decide what you equip. And they have like an item management system about like what are you going to equip to your character. So it has it all. It has a lot of systems, but not too complicated. So I highly recommend Dungeons of Hinterberg.
Hinterberger Helper. I love it.
And it's got that Austrian flair for those who like Austria.
I love Austrian flair.
I couldn't point out Austria right now on a map. Like gave me like 10 tries, maybe. Austria-Hungary back in the day.
Well, that looks like a real great game. I am actually kind of jealous. This is one of those rare Xbox games where I'm like, damn, why isn't that on my platform? I might have to actually download this on my PC because this absolutely looks like my jam. I'm gonna be checking it out, I think.
Yep.
Well, that sound means it's the end of the show. It's the caboose, where we give you a recommendation of something outside of the world of video games that we think you might enjoy. And Antonio,
are you gonna steal mine? Do we have the same one?
We might have the same one. It's very possible. We were talking about movies before.
Let's say that you should go see
Twisters?
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, I haven't seen Deadpool yet.
Oh, really?
So
yeah.
So I'm hoping I get to see it this weekend, but I got tickets to see Foo Fighters tomorrow night. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to steal myself away twice. Like using your babysitting credit is kind of like level up points on a skill tree in a video game. Like you only get so many babysitter points that you get to attribute to certain skills. And I've already allocated mine to Foo Fighters tomorrow night. So I don't know if I'm going to get to go see Deadpool this weekend or not, but I'm very excited about it. But I did see Twisters. And I got to say, Twister, the original Bill Paxton film, is my favorite movie of all time. It's really good. It is so dumb and so 90s cheese. But I watch it multiple times a year. I know, like, I'm one of those guys that, I can quote it as it goes. And so when they announced that they were doing a sequel to Twister, I just about wet my pants because why? Why do you make a sequel to a movie that came out in like 1996 that hardly anybody has asked for a sequel for other than me? So I was really excited about it, and I went to see it, and I really enjoyed it. It's very similar in tone and pace of the original film. Like it goes through the same beats, but it's an original story with an original cast. A couple Easter eggs to the original film, but I love the 90s feel of this movie. Like it feels like the old disaster films that we used to go see all the time. Disaster films were huge. Everybody wanted to see a movie about an earthquake or a volcano or a tornado. And this movie just kind of captures that. It doesn't flesh itself out a lot. Like there's not a effort to radicalize the formula. It's just like, hey, do you remember how cool these movies used to be? We're going to make a new one with kind of today's modern sensibilities. Like there's some really cool stuff with like drones, and there's a whole YouTube subplot that I don't know about that, but it's like, what if that kind of movie existed in today's modern day? And I just liked it. I liked it a lot. It's very easy to watch. It's like an easy watch. It's not going to tax your brain, but it's just going to be sit back and listen and watch these massive tornadoes just rip through the world and look at an incredibly handsome individual try to avert disaster. Glenn Powell is a handsome bitch.
Yeah, he's got something going on. It's a little spicy.
He's a charming dude. You saw this movie, right?
Yeah, we saw it. Yeah, we reviewed it again for Movie Magic Reviews, this little mini podcast side project that we have going on. So you could check out our review on the Megadad's YouTube channel. And we weren't as hot on it. I think that the first movie being so good, I had high expectations.
Yeah.
Like I wanted the characters to have a certain level of chemistry. I was expecting a little more, but it's worth seeing if you have the time, and if you're a fan of the original, you kind of have to see Twisters, right? After all this time,
you do, right?
There's not that many disaster movies anymore that are like this, or there's not that many tornado movies, so tornado fans gotta go. You know what I mean? See it in Dolby if you can.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a movie that has really great effects, but not like elaborate effects. Like it's like I don't know, just very grounded. It's unrealistic, but it's like grounded in the sense that it's just tornadoes. It's just tornadoes. It's not a whole bunch of action set pieces. So it feels grounded in that 90s vibe all the way through, which is what I really appreciated about it. In an age where everything is like lasers and spaceships and huge explosions.
It was kind of grounded. Yeah.
I really dug it. I really dug it. What's in your caboose, bro?
So I have to go with the Deadpool Wolverine, and we'll just leave it at that. You have to see it. It's thumbs up. It's thumbs up. It's action packed. It's go in just wanting to have a good time, and you will leave satisfied. You have to see it. All right.
I am such an X-Men super fan. Like, I cannot wait. I'm like struggling with the fact that I might not get to see it this weekend because I am so freaking hyped. I've been watching all the promo stuff. I watched the...
Please don't get spoiled. Please don't get spoiled, because like there were moments in the theater where people like burst out laughing together and burst out applause.
Yeah.
And you want that.
A real crowd pleaser, right?
Yeah, it was. Like, people clapped at the end, not to get the hype up too much, but there's a few moments that you really have to see.
I'm excited. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of Megadads Live. Don't forget to join that previously mentioned Discord. The link is in the comments and the description of this video right here. We hope you have a great week. We'll see you next time on Megadads Live.